Hey, good afternoon, evening, everybody. Hope you're all well. So, how's everybody doing? What sort of a day are you having today? So, St. George's Day. Hmm. So, the official day for St. George's Day is 23rd of April. But, I since read earlier in one of the newspapers, I think it was the Mail, um, St. George's Day has actually been moved. By the Church of England to Monday, the 28th. So you may or may not be aware of that. I wasn't, so, but whatever, I suppose. I don't know. So anyway, yeah, happy St George's Day to all people residing in England, citizens of England, British citizens. I can't again. I'm a little bit to be honest with you guys, I'm a little bit fed up with this British English um, divisiveness today. um, Now then, just for clarification, I am English. I can trace my name alone back to somewhere between 1066 and 1305. So it's somewhere in the region of 800 years my name traces back, and quite probable my bloodline traces back further than that, but whatever. So I am an Englishman, and I live in Great Britain, or British. Oh dear, oh dear. Now this is how I see it. Anybody who lives in England with a British passport is a British citizen. Uh, if you have got English heritage, then you can claim to be um, English. I guess where that heritage begins, I honestly, I don't know. Um, at the end of the day, if I hopped on the ferry and went to France today, lived there for 6 months, I don't think the French in general would accept me saying that I'm a Frenchman. Which I think is fair comment. I'm not. I wouldn't. Um, I wouldn't claim to be. If I was born in France, maybe. I don't know. It's not something I've had to deal with. Anyway, it's kind of drifting away. So I was a little bit upset with the Prime Minister's statement that he made on X, kind of trying to dump St George's Day and the English flag into some kind of far right neo-Nazi, ethno-nationalist. Oh, God knows. I give up with what a lot of us are supposed to be. What our label is, to be honest with you, to such a point that I just couldn't. I could care less, but I don't care. It's a bit of an oxymoron. But I'm English. I'm an English patriot. Um, I'm proud of that. I'm proud of my English flag. I'm also proud of the Union flag. I'm proud to say that my Scottish, Welsh, and Northern Ireland um, brothers are my brothers. And I don't know. I find it so hard these days to have to keep have to keep going along defending defending everything, uh, proclaiming I'm not a racist, I'm not a homophobe, I'm not an Islamophobe, I'm not a far right, alt right. It gets a little bit tiring, so I don't see any good reason for me to have to keep defending that. Right now, what this actually led me on to, like I say, I was a little bit. I don't know why Keir Starmer had to come out and start dredging up the Southport riots and one thing or another, and trying to pin that all on to the to the English flag of St George. I just really don't. I really don't see the necessity for that. So, like I said, my take. If you're a British citizen, if you live in England, that flag is yours. Uh, in my opinion, Now, lots of other people have different opinions. If you've got a different opinion, shout up in the chat. Tell me why. Tell me why. I'm not saying all British citizens, i.e., people who live in this country with a British passport and are British citizens, I'm not saying they're all English by heritage and blah, 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 all the rest of it. But being a British citizen living in the country of England, the flag of St George is our English flag. So you have every right to call that your flag, and I encourage you to do so wholeheartedly. We don't need this invented division. But that led me on to, I was just browsing through X, and a Sikh gentleman had posted up. I will put it up in a minute. Actually, I'll put it on now. My camera will go small. I'll be up on the top right hand corner. But let's have a look. I'm hoping you can read that. So, Aman Bogal. I'm sorry, Aman, if I've mispronounced your name. So he's the St George's flag, and he states, "This is my flag. This is your flag. This is our flag." Couldn't agree more, Aman. God bless England and the cross of St George, which unites us all to proudly call this civilizational nation home. Be proud of this England and of ours, this green and present land. This happy St George's Day. So now, I see that and I thought, what a lovely sentiment. This gentleman, he's clearly a Sikh of the Sikh religion. He's clearly not white English, for want of a better description. Whatever his heritage is, I don't know. I'm assuming that Aman is a British citizen living in England. So, yes, Aman, that is your flag. And big up to you. Big up to you, my brother. So then we go down to some of the comments. Now, this is where I have a serious problem, guys. I'm sorry. Excuse me. This is a plain naan. I asked for a garlic naan. Sorry, but that is just racist. The next one is God bless you, Aman, on this St George's Day. Thank you very much, Diana K. Braveheart says some of the comments on here are truly disgusting. Be proud, Aman. Couldn't agree more. Then this, allow me to explain your country's identity to you and how it includes me. I'm sorry, but that is just racist. You are insane. You have roots from India. You cannot be pure English. He never claimed to be. Happy St George's Day from Christine. Well done, Christine. Next one. You're Indian. No, your flag is a shit-stained India flag. We are not the same. We do not share anything. Disgusting. Disgusting comment. You will never be an Englishman. He never claimed he would. Another horrible comment. Not English. Never said he was. I'm Danish and I'm more English than you are. Well, stay in Denmark, as far as I'm concerned, because we've got enough racists, apparently. Don't need another one. Change the Brit flag out, your profile, then to an English one. Why? The British Union flag is the flag of England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. Or Northern Ireland, should I say. And the British flag, the Cross of St. George, is the English flag. Ridiculous. Quite clearly not. No, it's not. You belong to your full of shit country called India. Go where you belong. Oh my goodness. I'm sure you've seen enough of that, guys. If you haven't, go and find the thread and fill your boots. I want no part of such absolute disgraceful. Okay, so let's have a look here. So I did a quick Google. My question was, who else has St. George as their patron saint? So let's see. So this is from the Bias Broadcasting Company. I'm assuming they're not got bias on this one. So St. George isn't just the patron saint for England. He also holds this position for Aragon, Catalonia, Georgia, Lithuania, Palestine, Portugal, Germany, Greece, Moscow, Istanbul, Genoa, and Venice. Second to Saint Mark in brackets. The flag of St. George, a red cross on a white background, is England's national flag and is incorporated with the Union flag. So little is known about George, and there's a lot of stories about him that are full of myth and legend. It is believed he was born in a place called Cappadocia, an area which is now in Turkey, and he lived in the 3rd century. I'm not going to go through the full history of St. George. Why is St. George the patron saint of England? One thing that we do know about St. George is that he wasn't actually English. It is even believed that he may never have stepped foot in the country. Some people have actually campaigned for St. Edmund to be the patron saint of England, as they believe he is more English and more suitable for the title. But the country's patron saint has not been changed. Back in the 14th century, King Edward III, 1327 to 1377, was so inspired by tales of King Arthur and his knights that he founded something called the Order of the Garter around 1348. The Order of the Garter was a special group of knights, and it still exists today. He made St. George the patron saint of this order, and its badge depicts George slaying the dragon. So St. George remains an important symbol of knighthood in this country. St. George's Chapel was built at Windsor Castle by Edward IV and Henry VII, and made the official chapel for the Order of the Garter. And that goes on with a lot of history. Let me see if there's anything particularly relevant. No, that's about it, but it's the BBC. But the thing I really wanted to point out, guys, was yes, St George is the patron saint of England, but also many other countries. Two there in Spain. Then you've got Eastern European countries, Portugal, Germany, Greece, Moscow, Istanbul, Genoa, Venice, Palestine. So, so there is a varied amount of countries who have Saint George as their patron saint. So we're not the only ones. But obviously, Saint George and the flag of Saint George is held in great esteem by the citizens of England, or Englishmen, however you would like to describe that. But for anyone out there who's trying to exclude anyone who hasn't got 2,000 years of English heritage and blood, then I think that's pretty bad form. That's certainly not the British way as far as I'm concerned, and certainly not Christian in its nature. Like I said, I'll stand by what I said. If you are a British citizen living in England, then that is your nation flag. If you want to fly the Union flag as well, that's fine, because it is part of the United Kingdom. So we're a bit greedy. We've got two flags. But the Cross of St George is the national flag. So anyway, I'm not happy with those comments what are popping up on X to some of these posts. It's not the first post I've seen either. I just kept that one open so I could just kind of make my point. And again, I will say that I think the rhetoric in the Prime Minister's statement was unfair. I think it was biased. I think it was divisive. I did actually Google some pictures of last year's riots, and I can't say as I saw massive amounts of flags being waved. I didn't look at every picture from everywhere, so no doubt there was flags being displayed, but I don't think that's grounds to try and tarnish anyone supporting the flag of St George and St George's Day as far right. I really just don't know. I think Keir Starmer would be better off to show a little bit of patriotism to the country he heads, and put out more of a cheerful, celebratory, inclusive message than that. I think it's a bit of a disgrace. You put messages out there and then you wonder why. You wonder why there's division, because you're creating it. It just feels really deliberate. Yeah, so I just wanted to say something about that, about this continual apparent attempt at division. I really can't understand it. I really can't understand it. Feel free to drop a comment in the chat, guys, while we're on live. I'll re-upload this video when I finish the live anyway. So you're quite welcome to jump in the chat, say hello. For some reason, the stream does seem a little bit laggy today. I'm not quite sure why, but all good. So I have heard there is going to be a St. George's Day meet up rally. I guess I'm not really sure. I've barely seen anything about it in London on the 26th. This coming Saturday. It's not something I shall be attending myself. I haven't seen anything regarding police liaise, security, steward, and anything like that. Whether there is or not, I don't know. I just haven't heard anything about it, so that's not really something I would want to attend. I don't think. Yeah, so I don't know. It's a shame. I would have liked to have gone. But whatever's going on, it's nothing to do with the Unite the Kingdom movement or Tommy. Nothing at all connected to, related to, called for, promoted by Tommy or any of the Unite the Kingdom organisers or Urban Scoop or anyone else. So, bear that in mind, guys. And I just hope and pray that there's no trouble, because we all know what happens if there is. If there's any trouble, that will suddenly be all over the TV as a Tommy protest, far right, bloody blah blah, or whatever particular label they can find for the day. They're like, I can't wait to jump on and kick Tommy in the teeth for something he hadn't done. So, but like I say, this is in no way promoted by, supported, nothing at all to do with Tommy, Unite the Kingdom, Urban Scoop, or any of the other people involved in that side of things. Unfortunately, nothing like that has been arranged. So, but what there is on the 26th, I can't get that to come up. Can I? Let me see. No, just a black screen. So there is a rally which I will mention if I can get it to come up on the screen. There we go. Patriots of Britain present Unite for the Children. This is also on this Saturday, 26th of April. Location, Manchester, Piccadilly Gardens. Meet at 2 p.m. There's quite a good list of speakers there, and there may well be some other speakers turn up which haven't been put on this list. But if you can get yourself to Manchester on the 26th at Piccadilly Gardens, this is relating to the Grumman scandal and the exploitation and essay of children. So a very worthwhile, very worthy rally to attend. And of course, you can always take your St. George's Cross flag or your Union flag, which I dare say would be very encouraged. and you can also celebrate St George's Day at the same time. So, like I say, Saturday 26th, this Saturday, April, Manchester Piccadilly Gardens meet at 2 p.m. So give that some thought, guys. If you can make it, drop down there and show your support. Should be massive crowd really to support this. None of us want to whatever race, colour, creed, gender, whatever. I can't imagine anybody supports the SA of or any kind of abuse of children. So yeah, whoever you are, wherever you come from, whatever your colour, whatever your religion, get down there and show your support. And that's nothing to do with me. I'm not an organiser or a part of it. I just came across it, and yeah, it's stuff like that need support, guys, don't it? So what else have we got in the news? What else have we got? Let's have a little look and see what's cropping up on X. So have a nice cup of caramel latte. Very nice. Yes, indeedy. So, if you saw one of my other videos, you'll see that I decided I didn't want to be associated with the Church of England anymore. I was baptised into the Church of England as a child, as a baby, and obviously raised in the Christian faith. But the way the Church of England has become so politicised, it's more like a political party than a religious institution, which is very sad, very sad. The Catholic faith, or following the traditions of the Catholic faith, was my choice, and it's all leaving me in a pretty confused state. I don't know why religion has to have so many different factions and offshoots and groups and all the rest of it. I didn't know this was the case with the Catholic Church, but there's various faction type groups within the Catholic Church. So I don't know, but I went to my local Catholic church on Sunday, and I spoke to the father, had a word, and basically, all I want to do is to attend a church, and be taught, I guess, or to hear the word of God preached by a man of God. I don't want politics or political views involved in any of it. I just want it to be Christianity. I'm not interested in politics in religion, not at all. I do think governments and well, basically governments and the state and the bureaucracy should be in line with Christian values, because we do live in a Christian-based culture and society. This is what England was founded on. So I do believe that um, values within Christianity should be part of um, government and state decisions and actions, because it's just the way it is. Now, I have noticed uh, from many directions, um, the Christian faith, beliefs, churches, institutions, um, coming under various amounts of attack, should I say, um, chipping away, nibbling away at various aspects of Christianity. So I've been given this quite a bit of thought as to why why would you want to degrade a Christian-based value system? Now, maybe a little bit controversial, I suppose. I don't think it is. But if you take Christianity and how we've built the Christian beliefs into the state, if you could use one all-encompassing word for that position, now this is all just in my opinion, coming out of my brain, not from anywhere else. The word I would use, if I could only use one word, morals. So the conclusion I came to was the critics and the people wishing to chip away and erode the Christian-based society and values. That is a major part of that. If you can erode Christianity, the church, the value of the church, the value of the Christian belief system in this country and across the West, you are eroding morals. Now, there's various places you can see evidence of people happy to reduce moral values on lots and lots of things, lots and lots. And the more you do away with Christianity, and these beliefs and morals, you continually chipping away and dropping the bar as to what becomes acceptable in society. So that was one thing that was playing on my mind a little bit. I couldn't really get my head around why there's so much of an attack on church and religion. Now, I know there are other religions which are not getting attacked in the same way, but bear this in mind, that other religions are not what the country was built on, so we are not particularly following those belief systems. So there's not really any point to attacking them in any way the same as would be for our way of life. I'm not doing a very good job of explaining what I mean, but I hope you get what I mean. So that's a worry. And I would encourage anyone to reevaluate their involvement with Christianity. I'm not saying rush off and go to church 6 times a week and, you know, sackcloth and ashes, all of this, self-flagellate with sticks. Yeah, I'm not saying, you know, become some crazy religious person. But even if you're not a practicing Christian, which I'm a Christian, but I wouldn't say I am a practicing religion as in I regularly go to churches, sit here reading the Bible, and, you know, one thing and another. I don't know. I don't know what people's sort of views are really on what they think they have to do to be a Christian. But even if you don't, even if even if you're an atheist, okay, you're still living with Christian values because that's what this country is based on. So there is no escaping it. Would you like to take all those values away and just have a free for all? I would be as bold as to say, no, surely not. Why would you want to be? And atheism is it's a bit of a conundrum for me. And a friend of my best friend, actually, we was talking about this a couple of weeks ago, and he said, "Oh, no, no, no." He said, "Well, I neither believe or disbelieve." I said, "Oh, okay." So when you die, if you turn up at heaven's gate, and you go, oh, blimey, so it's true. Well, you know, I was 50-50. Do you think you'll be let in? Do you think you can go, well, you know, I weren't quite sure, but I was hedging my bets a bit. Lord, you know, I can see it's true now. Can I come in? I think you'll get the boot. So I might just go to get extra step. There's plenty of evidence for there's in my opinion, there's more evidence for it to be true than there is evidence that it's not. I.e., the story of Jesus, the crucifixion, you know, everything was in the Gospels. But so that seems an odd stance to me. Same with atheism. Atheism. What have you got to lose by being a believer? Nothing. What have you got to lose by being a complete disbeliever? Could be quite a bit, really. So, you know. Anyway, I didn't really want this to be all about religion, but I just want to just cover some of them little bits and bobs. There's obviously plenty of news and plenty of stuff going on, but it's just the same. Same stuff as usual, just on and on and on. I find it hard work just to make it through the day. Really, just lately. What have we got? So apparently there's some big terror attack in India. I'm just coming. I did hear about that earlier. I've just come across it on the Twitter feed. Just scroll down. So it says here, India orders Pakistani nationals to leave within 48 hours in a strong response to the recent terror attack in Pahalgam. Excuse me if I got that wrong. Pahalgam. That claimed the lives of 26 Indian tourists. The Ministry of External Affairs has issued a 48-hour ultimatum for all Pakistani nationals currently residing in India to leave the country. Wow. So, I hadn't really seen much about that. But yeah. So we'll have to keep a close eye on that, guys. Hopefully that doesn't escalate further out of control. The last thing we need is more conflict in the world. There's enough of that to go round as there is. It's getting a bit crazy. I've got to be a little bit careful on what I read out really on X, because I don't want to give you any false information. There's plenty of that to go around, I believe. But yeah, it's a little bit concerning, this India-Pakistan issue, shall I call it? Excuse me, let's have a drink. Look, I can't even afford a decent cup, look. Bloody chip in it. I don't know. La 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 la, let's see. Britain to approve £50 million sun dimming experiments in a bid to prevent runaway climate change. I don't know the story behind that. I've seen that popping up. If anybody's seen Snowpiercer, blimey, sounds like the plot of Snowpiercer. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Yeah, check it out. Bloody hell. So, if you have seen it, hopefully we've got Sean Bean. He's out in his shed, knocking up a big train called Snowpiercer. If you don't know, you think I'm more mental than what I am. But there is a series called Snowpiercer, which that was very that was the same thing. They was trying to interfere with the weather, and caused a global ice age. So if net zero isn't madness enough, let's throw in some man-made climate fiddling. God. Ah, so what I'm hoping to do before too long is to have an open mic. Excuse me. For an hoping to do an open mic session where any of the viewers can join in. I'll set it up on. I don't use StreamYard, but I have got it, so I can just set that up to do that kind of stream, and you'll be able to hop onto the stream and say what's on your mind. So I don't know how many people will be up for that, but leave some comments in the chat, and if it looks like support, then I'll get that set up. I don't really want to mess around too much and nobody wants to join or whatever. I know some people do, some people don't. So, so check this out. Oh, hang on. Check this out. Yay! That's what we like to say, boys. Boys and girls. Girls and guys and girls and men and ladies and women. Very patriotic scenes there. I'm not sure where it is. It's just popped up on my Twitter feed. On my X feed. Yes. Oh, blimey. Sorry. I'm now scrolling through my X feed. I just looked to see if anything popped up, so better be careful. Oh dear. So yeah, so we've had various little things pop up. There's the High Court, Supreme Court ruling as to the definition of a woman, which on the one hand, I find it pretty shocking that the highest court in the land has to decide how to define a man and a woman. Adding to that, it's just a sign of these absolute mental case times we live in. Oh man. I mean, it's just I think it's just scrolling through X. You just come up with the most ridiculous things. I try not to take them too serious. I mean, sometimes I can't help it, but I mean, I don't really know whether I should I should comment on that. I mean, come on, fella, lady, woman, man. I don't know. I don't. I mean, these far left extremists. In everything I've seen over at least the last 12 months or so, they come across as being so violent. It's a case of uh, agree with me or else, which I find a little bit disturbing. If you can't have a conversation about stuff, then where do you go from that? I've seen so many videos where the people behind the cameras, if they ask a question and it slightly sounds like it might be something what some of these people perceive even, they instantly want to turn violent and abusive. I just really don't understand it. You know, like I say, even if it's just a question being asked, um, they make an assumption of what the question rather than answer it. They make assumptions on what they think the question is, and instantly get aggressive and abusive, and then as it comes, Zionist, racist, far right, Nazi, transphobe, Islamophobe, homophobe, alt right, neo eth. God, so many names. I struggle to remember them all. Some of them I don't even know what they mean. Um, they've never existed for me, so I'm sort of playing catch up with all this, like cis male. I don't even know what that means. I think that's me, but I don't really know. And even that, if you don't seem to know and you ask, again, they want to jump up and down, scream and shout. And I saw two separate videos actually over the weekend from two different independent journalists at the big transgender rally in Hyde Park, and both of these independent journalists um, harassed. The harassment was absolutely absurd. There was four people in particular, and they was on both of the streams of two different journalists, and the journalists weren't together. And one of them, Wesley, was followed across the park, out of the park, and up the main street in London. And he looked like he was getting a little bit worried, which I don't blame him. It was just pure and blatant harassment, and they came up to some police on the side of the road, and it sort of ended there. But they had been following Wesley for about 20 minutes. Now, I wouldn't put up with that. There's no doubt in my mind at all. I would not be harassed like that. No way. Um, I would insist that the police dealt with this situation. Like I say, Wesley was walking away. He was leaving, so he wasn't even um, trying to interview anyone, speak to anyone. He was actually leaving and going home, and they kept following him. I just thought it was absolutely shocking. And even when he got to these police who stood there and explained what had happened, they they didn't they didn't seem to want to do anything. I would have insisted um, on harassment, because it, plain and simple, and because he kept his camera running for his own safety, it was all on video. So yeah, it's just madness. But then you see these idiots. Then they start to give everybody at the protest a bad name. You know, everybody gets tarred with the same brush. It's kind of human nature. Um, as much as you don't want to or you don't like to, you end up, tar on this whole movement or rally, protest, whatever it happens to be. Um, Everything gets tarred with the same brush, so I don't know. Crazy. Crazy. Oh, blimey. So what we got here? We got a post. June Slater popped up on X. Courtesy of GB News. Who's a naughty boy then? Well, clearly it isn't the British. Machetes on the street. June crimes, sex crimes, mug. June crime? June crime, sex crimes, mugging. Ended. Yeah, WhatsApp and tweets get 4 colours. So arrest rates in the UK, different nationalities, population adjusted. So I'm sure you can read that for yourself. Yeah, so I'm not quite sure where they. I'm not quite sure of where GB News has got these figures from. So don't take these as gospel. And but let's say June Slater of from X, and I believe June also. Oh, she's on YouTube. June Slater's on YouTube as well, but she says it's courtesy of GB News anyway. But where they say British, I'm not sure whether they mean English British or British citizens. If you get my drift, I don't know. It's ridiculous. But if it's British citizens, British people with a British passport who live here or whatever it is, I don't know. They can see per thousand, so it's not a population based. It is actually based on per 1,000 people. So they're quite shocking figures, I must say. I find that surprising, somewhat. Not shocking, but a little bit of an eye opener. Like I said, I'm not sure of the accuracy where GB News got their figures from or whatever, but there we go. Go after GB News, not me. I didn't post it. Da, 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 da. What else have we got? We got a post from Luke Pollard. Happy St. George's Day. With a St. George's flag. Thank you very much, Luke Pollard, whoever you are. Who are you? MP for Plymouth, Sutton and Devonport. Minister for the Armed Forces. Oh, is he? Oh dear, he's got his pronouns. He, him. Oh dear. Well, you was doing so well, Luke. We don't need to know your pronouns. I don't anyway. If you look like a bloke, you're a he, him to me. If you look like a woman, you're a she, her. Is it? I don't know. I'm too fucking sorry. I'm too old for all this shit, honestly. Oh dear. There's all sorts of strange stuff come up on my X feed as usual. And this is just trying to find so which I know is which I know is the truth. Yeah. There's a ton of stuff on, obviously, all the usual stuff going on. Head shaking and oh dear, and all this. I could be scrolling up and down here forever. A nice post from the British Army. Happy St George's Day. Good, 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 good. Mm. Oh, so this is from David Lammy. I haven't even scrolled down on this yet, but I know exactly what's going to be. Happy George's Day. Today we celebrate our pride in being English and our shared values, history, and culture. And I'm sure they do some of these posts just to wind people up. I really do, and I don't understand why. I think they just, I think um, some of the far left, they just do this to create division. I really do. I don't really care. Like, I'm, I'm not, I'm not that bothered as such. Happy St George's Day. Today we celebrate our pride in being English. Well, as someone has pointed in the comments on that post, David Lammy has previously stated that he's Caribbean. So, um, he does say we, so that's inferring that he is part of the group celebrating being English, having shared values, history, and culture, which, yeah, I applaud that. But when you're part and parcel to giving away British territory, such as the Chagos Islands, um, and supporting reparations to wherever, I don't know, I'll get too into it, then that doesn't really show to me a great pride in shared history and culture, to be honest with you, that sort of behaviour. But whatever. I don't know why the English or the British always have to be we always have to be the villains, despite what Great Britain, all the good that Great Britain has done for the world in the past, both recent past and historically. Um, all anybody's ever interested in is pointing out things they think is bad about this country and its past and its history. You never see so many people shouting loudly about the good we did around the world, and still do really when you think about it. You know, sending 120 million to Sudan. You know, what is that, a bad thing, or is that some good? The people who live in this country paying tax again, regardless of where you originated from. If you're in this country working and paying tax, it's your money as well. You know, it's not just my tax money, his tax money, it's everybody's. So you know, we are still trying uh, as a country to do good around the world. I don't know. Just all this continual beating up of this country. I'm not a fan of. And if those people who keep doing it can't see how much division and divide that's causing in this country, um, then they're either ignorant or deliberate. Um, and it neither make any sense to me. There's no reason to be ignorant. And there's no good reason for be divisive, trying to cause splits and divides in the population. There we go. What do I know? What do I know? I'm just an idiot. Oh dear, that's about the only thing I could agree on. I'm just a normal bloke, just trying to get on with life, as most of us are. But all I ever say is, he said this, they said that, we're not this, they're not that, we're not the other, blah, blah, blah. It's just getting mad. So, anyway, how long we've been going for? I don't know. Let's have a look. Little while. Like I say, guys, feel free. Speak up in the chat if you're quick. If not, leave a comment. Give us a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe. Share the video. I know it's not necessarily anything particularly groundbreaking. I dare say Chris will be getting on to trying to cover some more news in detail. Chris usually does that side of things. He's much better at it than I am. Yeah. So yeah. So I'll leave that to him. I do prefer my live streams, to be honest with you, and trying to get some interaction out of you, like out there, and giving me something to a different subject maybe, because I honestly my brain gets flooded with that much stuff. I end up forgetting, and I'm just swamped, and I kind of surrender and think, oh God, just can't. It's just too much for me to go on. Yeah, well. But anyway, I hope you're having a. So the 23rd of April is the normal official St George's Day, but because of a church rule that you can't celebrate saints' days on the same week as Easter, I believe it is. I did read it. I can't remember the exact wording, but that's the gist of it. So the church has moved it to the official day is Monday the 28th, but obviously people are going to be celebrating it today and on Saturday the 26th, as it's the first day off work. So yeah, so there'll still be some stuff going on somewhere here and there. Like I said, something going on in London. I don't know what it is, and I'm not saying go to it or not go to it. I know very little about it, but if you do go, be careful, guys. Don't you know. You know what I'm saying? If it's an unofficial kind of just turn up without security and stewards and liaison with the Met, then you need to be careful. And like I say, it's nothing to do with Unite the Kingdom, Tommy, or Urban Scoop, or any of those people. So, yeah. So anyway, I think I'll wind it up there, guys. It's 7 p.m. So I think I'll wind up and go and see if I can find some food in the cupboard and have some dinner. And yeah, let me know let me know in the chat. How much interest there'll be for a live stream where I can have guests on the stream. If you show me if I can see how much kind of interest there is, I'll get that organised not too far into the future. But thanks very much for joining me. It's much appreciated, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And yeah, happy St George's Day once again. So thank you, guys. Love to you all, and God bless every one of you. And we will speak to you soon, I hope. Thanks, guys. Love you all.